Hi all, so you can see that I'm running a Windows 11 Insider preview here, and this is how old of a model I'm running it on. It's Optiplex 790, and its last BIOS update was 2018, and the latest driver updates were 2014, so this BIOS update was just because of some critical CVEs. But anyway, my problem here is that I'm trying to do Windows updates now, and when I do the Windows updates, it is doing a check for TPM and secure boot, and this machine doesn't support secure boot. It does support TPM. I turn that on, and it supports the UEFI BIOS, but it doesn't support secure boot. So when I try to download and install this, it will run the Windows check now. So it wasn't doing this all my life, ever since Windows has been saying that it needs supported hardware. I've been forcing the install, and it has been working for me using Rufus or one of the other methods to force the install on unsupported hardware. And it's been updating up until I installed this preview build, but I think on one of my other machines it's doing it too. But I'm going to let this download, and then I'll come back to you later. Okay, here we go. It's checking the PC, and it's going to fail this point, and because it doesn't support secure boot. So anyway, it's going to cancel this install now, but I'm going to let it keep downloading. I'm not going to cancel this until after the download is complete, and then I'm going to show you my workaround. I think you might like it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and cancel this, and we'll go ahead and start the workaround. So now I'm at the point where if I check for updates, it's going to show me that. And when I try to install the update, I'm going to get that error, and that's the issue I'm working around here. So here's what I've decided to do and what worked for me once, and we'll see if it works again while I record this. I opened up, I installed this machine with Windows first, and then I took that hard drive out and installed Linux Mint on here with a different hard drive. And then I put the Windows drive back in and set up the Linux Mint so that it boots and allows you to select at the GRUB bootloader whether you want Windows or Linux. And then in Linux, I installed VirtualBox, and we'll get to that. I'm going to reboot right now. Okay, so here we are in the Linux boot on the same computer, but here I've got a VirtualBox installed, and this is reading the real SDA on the drive. If you go open a terminal in Linux and run lsblock blk, and we'll see that we've got our two drives. SDA is the Windows drive because it's the one that has the multiple partitions, and also I know that my Linux is on SDB. Okay, so what I've got here, if I go into my settings on here and we look at the storage, I've got this drive right here, which is actually a pointer to the real hardware. It's not it's not just a virtual drive, it's a virtual drive container that is pointing to the real SATA drive that's in the computer. That's the Windows drive, SD. Oh, I guess it is SDB. Oh, maybe I should check that. Yeah, maybe this better turn into a tutorial on how to create that drive. So let's see. We'll cancel this. We'll go to Tools. What have we got? Media. Got that drive. Let's delete that, because that's pointing to SDB. I created that earlier. For some reason it's not. It's SDA now when it boots. Let's release it. Yes, release. Now I'm going to delete it. Yes, I'm going to delete it. Delete. And we'll just delete it. Okay, so let's open a terminal. Somewhere where I created that, we should have that. So here's the command to get there. Let's full screen this. Let's see, yeah, that'll show you the whole command on one line. But before that, you should have this command right here. It will show us our current condition of the drives. So here, SDA is obviously the Windows recovery. Yep, so that's the Windows one. So good thing we didn't start on SDB, because I would have tried to start on itself, on its own boot drive. So this one is the one we booted to. This is the one we're going to try to boot to in the virtual machine. So we need to create that drive. So let's do this the cheater way. Right here, VirtualBox VMs, real drives. That's going to be a script, but it's not done yet. Open in terminal. Okay, so now we're in that folder. And we need to run this on SDA. And so let's change this to A. Okay, so now that magically just connected this file to the real hard drive. So now we close that, go back into our virtual machine. Here, go to settings, go to that drive. We'll add a hard drive. Okay, there's a permissions issue, so we got to fix that. So created the drive now, but it was created as the root user. So we need to go in here to properties, and we'll see that we can't change that because I'm not the root right now. So go up here and we'll open this folder as root. Now we'll go in here and change some permissions so we can use this as a regular user. Go to permissions. Let's make this part of the users group instead of only the root group. Give read-write access. Give everybody else read-write access. I don't know if we need to check that, but that's not going to hurt because this is a controlled environment. Okay, so now that should solve this problem. Alright, there we go. Now we have permissions to use it. We'll choose that as our drive. We've already got guest editions installed, so we can take that out. And we'll just move disk. Okay, so now we'll cross our fingers and see what happens. So right now we're in the VirtualBox. Oh, here, let's show you some more of the settings. Machine settings. We go to the system. See that secure boot is not enabled. We need to enable that. So we're going to turn this back off. So we're not ready to go in here yet. Power, shut down. Because the whole point of doing this was to boot this up with secure boot enabled, and then that will trick Microsoft into allowing the installer to install. So let's go to the settings, system. Oh, enable secure boot right there. It is enabled. So these are the settings I was talking about anyway. So we've got the TPM 2.0 enabled, and then under the storage we got that drive that we just created. So I guess we're good to go. Because when we try to install the Windows Update, it's going to do that secure boot check again and fail again if this isn't working. So here it's booting up, it looks like. And let's see, we'll go into, let's go here, system properties. I was going to look for activation. Where is it? Product key and activation. Let's look at this. Can't activate this right now. But anyway, our activation state shows not active, and that's because we booted up with different hardware. Our hardware has changed so much. And so we're not active anymore, so we can't just go ahead and use it like this. So we have to get the update installed. So let's go to Windows Update. And here we are at the same point. So we'll see if we get different results. Because right now it should think that it's running with Secure Boot enabled anyway, even though that it's not active because of the hardware has changed so much. It thinks it has a Secure Boot environment. Here we go. Checking your PC. Are we going to pass? Almost ready. Let you know when we're done and what to do next. This window will automatically close in 2 minutes. So we'll just leave it alone. It is downloading. It's got 7% downloaded. But this was blocking us from even getting that far. So this is what the future of Windows is. And that's the risk that you take when you install Windows 11 on unsupported hardware. My main daily driver PC is technically unsupported as well. It does support Secure Boot and all, but it has an old processor that is just one generation too early, and so I had to use one of the techniques to bypass the Windows system checks to get that installed. But I'm waiting for the day that crashes on me. But anyway, right now we're running this perfectly good hardware that Windows won't run officially on anymore, and we're extending the life by having Windows or having Linux Mint on there now. So even when Windows is finally just won't play anymore, we can install it in a fresh install of Windows in a virtual machine, and we should be able to continue to test with it. I like this VirtualBox too, because you can save your states each time you boot, and you can go back to snapshots, and so you can use it as a test zone for testing anything that's going to change configurations, or if you're testing an install of some software and you don't want it to be permanent, you can test it and then go back to a snapshot before you installed it, and always have a fresh starting point. And I like this taskbar down here where you can see what the lights that they used to have on the outside of your PC. I don't have hard drive lights or anything like that on any of my computers anymore, so it's good to see when the network's blinking, and when if you right click here, I could snap on here and then my mouse would actually be captured by this machine. Let's do that. Oh, so I can't see my mouse in there though. So that was a mistake. So now I got to plug another mouse in to get my mouse back. Alright. I had to plug this Logitech receiver in so I could actually use my mouse again. So it's not showing my mouse, but it's in there. Okay, we'll let this cook for a while, and we'll see when it's downloaded how it goes. Okay, so that's done now, so we'll restart it, and I'm going to say let's ignore that. Let's change this to, let's just ignore that for right now. Let's use the shutdown method here. Use update and shutdown. And then after this will restart after the update and finish the update, and then it will power itself off from the virtual machine. We'll reboot Windows on the real hardware. Okay, so that has finished installing. I think I'm going to start it one more time in the virtual machine here before we reboot in Windows directly on the real metal. And what I want to do is just make sure that there's no more Windows updates available right now. Might be another Defender update or something, but I want it to say that we're all up to date before we reboot on the other Windows, and then we'll check it. See, this was supposed to have already had all the updates done before it turned off. If we'd have turned this back on in Windows, or if we would have walked away thinking, okay, my computer will be all updated when I come back to work, we'd have to wait for Windows to update still, even after we told it to update yourself all the way and then turn yourself off. So we wouldn't have to wait for this. And basically why this is such a big update is because it's basically a whole new Windows install. That's the Canary release on the Insider program. See, it's like a whole new Windows install, a Windows upgrade. So it kept all the files, but it upgraded it to the newest version of Windows that's not out yet. This is obviously the wrong computer to have this kind of a Insider install on. This will be getting removed. So this message indicates it's doing more updates. It's not just configuring a user profile. It's doing Windows updates. So we'll go into the properties here, and we're going to look at the activation again, and I'll show you the Insider release that I'm running. I think the Canary release is practically nightly builds, so that's a bad idea. Product and activation. See, it says it's not active because it's running in the virtual machine, and it thinks the hardware's changed too much. Let's go to Windows Update. So right now I can't change personalize the display or anything. So let's check for updates. Get it to where it says we're all up to date, and then we'll reboot on the real metal. Alright, it says there's no updates available. I'm up to date, and here is the Windows Insider program I was trying to look for. And this right here says the canary, and if I want to change that, it's blacked out right now. I have to go into my account to change that. And I'm linked to this account on the regular metal, but not here in the virtual machine. So we'll see if this looks different when we reboot to bare metal. Alright, so we'll close this virtual machine. We'll reboot. Yeah, see, this is like a full upgrade of Windows. Alright, so here we are back in the real metal of Windows, the same SSD. Let's see, let's go to settings. System activation. So we're active again. We go to Windows Update, Insider Program. So we can't change that. We have to unlink this whole operating system from my Insider Program account. But in the meantime, let's check for updates again. And we're up to date. So our time and date is wrong because we just came out of a Linux. And there we go. Back in the real world.